Hello, my friends. I am so excited to be with you today on this beautiful Tuesday. I hope you are staying warm wherever you are. I wanted to talk to you guys today about mindset. And this is a question that comes up so much in my personal conversations in my Facebook group, and also just people reaching out to me and saying, what is this all about? What does this mean? How is this even helpful? I've had a lot of people who question working on something like the mindset because they think, well, what's the return on investment here? Like, how am I actually getting something out of this? And it's very, very difficult to explain that. And so I wanted to take this episode to show you just how this works in real life for your personal relationships, for your business, and everything in between. So if this is your first time here, first off, let me say welcome. I am Aubrey Barr. I am a subconscious release technique practitioner. I'm a photographer. I work with creatives all over the world to help with growth mindset. And this may sound like just a tagline. It may sound like something that's hooty tooty, or some people say woo. But in reality, working on your mindset not only changes your day-to-day life, but it changes your outcome in long-term goals. And we're going to talk today a little bit about research too, and how mindset work actually increases your income and your quality of life. So friends, let me tell you that mindset work will absolutely be the best return on investment that you can do for your business and for your life, okay? In a study by Dr. Carol Dweck, I hope I'm saying her name right, she worked on growth mindset, and she found that people who believe they can grow and change experience less stress and perform better in challenges. So we all know that business, just being an entrepreneur, it requires you to be able to overcome challenges at every turn. There's things that happen that could feel like a failure. It could knock you down if you allow it to. But when you have that positive outlook and you have been working on your emotional intelligence, you're able to go through those and not only overcome them, but learn from them. So mindset rewires the brain to handle stress, uncertainty, and setbacks. So if you're someone who feels like, oh my gosh, I cannot catch a break, at every corner, there's a new situation, there's a new problem, I have to be able to overcome this all the time, and it's exhausting, that's a good indication that you could use some of this work. Mindset work is not like this package deal that, oh, you need this class, you need this course. It's actually a lot more specialized and personalized to what you are personally dealing with, because there's a good chance that your overwhelming anxiety or inability to handle the stress is actually coming from your past experiences. Sometimes we just need to learn how to break those down, how to process those, and how to release them. Because I can promise you, most of us went through childhood without ever learning how to do that. And that is a huge thing that I help my clients with. And this reminds me of my client. I'm going to call her Steff. She had been dealing with PTSD because in her neighborhood where her family lives, there was a horrific explosion. And there was a lot of people in her neighborhood that unfortunately passed away, kids, adults. There was a lot there to handle. It was very unexpected. This happened a few years ago. And when she reached out to me, our main goal was to help her actually process those emotions, because she had been going to traditional therapy and just felt like, yeah, she talks about it all the time. And then she still wakes up in the middle of the night thinking about it all the time. And she still worries when it's time to take the kids to school, or when she's working from home now, and all of these things. And so she didn't feel like she was overcoming it. She felt like she was just talking about it. And so with the work that we did together in the first 2 sessions, she was able to finally release that anxiety and that stress because we processed it together. We walked through what her thoughts were that day and what emotion she held onto and actually were trapped inside her body. through that work, through being able to work through it, she felt like she was finally able to breathe. She was getting better sleep. She was feeling like, actually, I can overcome this. I have been able to. And then when she looked at her own personal business gains, she's like, wow, this actually showed up in my business too, because I'm reaching out more to people. I'm spending less time being stressed and more time in that creative mindset where I'm able to create more for my business, to create a flow, to create programs and all of the things. So in Steff's story, I can really illustrate how those setbacks and the way that she was struggling with that situation was actually keeping her back in the other areas. And she didn't even really know it because she didn't have more to give, right? She was so bogged down by the overwhelming feelings of also survivor's guilt and whatnot that she wasn't able to put anything extra into her business and grow that. In another study by Harvard Business Review, it's all about money mindset. And in that study, they found that entrepreneurs with a positive relationship with money see higher financial growth than those with scarcity thinking. The link between the subconscious money blocks and income ceilings is uncanny. There's been plenty of studies about it. There's been plenty of books written about it. And while I can wholeheartedly recommend at least 20 books on the top of my head about this topic, I will add them to the show notes. But beyond that, doing the actual work is where the needle's going to move. You can understand it, you can read it and say, yes, this consciously makes sense to me. It really is the subconscious that we have most of our setbacks in. That's where we have limiting beliefs that are saying, no, you can't make more than what your mom made when you were young, or no, you can't make more than your husband, or maybe even a scarcity mindset where you're thinking, well, I am not going to be successful because my parents weren't successful. I'm not going to be successful because I'm not meant for good things. I'm not worthy of that. I'm not deserving of that. There's so many things going on in the subconscious realm that it's hard to pinpoint them just by understanding the concept. So I would really, really encourage you to do more deep work, do some subconscious release work, do some things that are helping you to actually shift those beliefs other than just reading about it and just understanding it and just having a blanket idea of what it's all about. There has to be some deeper growth, and that's coming from the subconscious side, not the conscious mind. Even traditional mindset work like affirmations and journaling, it only scratches the surface of what you really need done. The subconscious mind, you guys, dictates 95% of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. So you can clearly see that that subconscious mind is really in control of a lot of things in your life while you allow it to be. Okay. I've shared my personal story of my biggest business breakthrough several times, and I'll just reiterate that when I was a child, I definitely didn't want to be seen. I didn't want people to notice me. I wanted to be shy because I was shy, and that felt more comfortable to me. I wanted zero extra attention, and that was a safety thing for me. It's like, if I'm not noticeable, then people won't call me out. The teacher won't ask me a question in front of the class. I won't be stared at like in the limelight. I didn't want any of that. And honestly, I had never gotten it. So it was very comfortable for me to kind of skate around without being noticed. Hello, middle of 7 children, right? That's where I was. I was smack dab in the middle of 7 kids, and several of them very much got a lot of attention and loved it. So I just played that out for the rest of my life until I had a business, and I realized that the things that were holding me back were putting myself out there marketing wise was because I still had this underlying belief that I did not want to be seen. And I find that so much, especially with women entrepreneurs, very much a creative mindset is like, I want to put this out there, but I don't want recognition for it. I don't even want money for it. And we can see how that kind of mindset actually prohibits us from attaining these higher awards, maybe even not necessarily making the most money, but just like winning this, right to be published in a magazine, or, putting our stuff on Instagram with so much confidence and so much like, look what I created. While a lot of artists put it out there and like, hey, I just did this just yesterday. What do you think? And then they worry about if it got likes or if it got a lot of comments or if people shared it. And there's just this whole backward way of thinking about that I have seen in a lot of my clients. And these are the people I attract. So if you're listening to this episode, it might be you too, right? Where you just have like this, don't look at me. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your investment. It's not worth it. I want to tell you that you are so worth it. But me just saying that to you is not going to be enough. And I know that now. I know that we have this deep need to actually release these ideas that are holding us back. Because you, my friend, you are so worth getting every bit of recognition or income or relationship status that you want in life. You just have to be able to see that mindset work and growing your emotional intelligence is going to be the best way for you to get there. It is the best return on investment that you can do in your life. I can promise you that. It will replace years of therapy. I have so many clients that are like, I've been in therapy for 5, 10, 15 years, and I've never felt the release that I feel from doing the subconscious work. That is because we've learned to talk about it, and we still haven't learned to release those emotions and those thoughts and those ideas from the subconscious. So I invite you, my friend, to look at where in your life this subconscious work is actually going to help you. And you may feel like it's one category over the other. You may feel like you really need this in your relationships so that you can have a better marriage, or you can finally get that boyfriend or girlfriend that actually appreciates you, right? You might feel like there's a certain area that you need it in. Meanwhile, I can promise you it will change every area of your life when you do the work, okay? So if you want to explore this more, I will put my link for my private sessions in the show notes. I can take on a few new clients this month for my private sessions. So if it's available, you can snag it. And I usually turn off the cart if there's no more spots available. So just take a look and see if it's for you. But I can promise you that this work will absolutely change your life in more ways than one. I will say one last thing too. A study from the National Institute of Mental Health found that releasing suppressed emotions, instead of just talking about them, okay, reduces stress responses in the brain and leads to lasting emotional regulation. Everybody wants emotional regulation. This is what helps us deal with our challenges of being a parent, running a business, having to deal with the dogs, having to deal with the chores, right? All of the things. This is exactly why subconscious release technique is so powerful, because it helps your brain and body process emotions fully. So you're not just managing stress, but actually rewiring how you respond to life. That is neuroscience, my friends. All right, guys, on that note, I just want you to know that you are not meant to struggle through this life alone. Okay, when you shift what's running in the background, those programs that are just running nonstop, everything in your life will follow suit. So let's unlock that next level together. And I cannot wait to see what's in store for you. All right, friends, have a beautiful day. We'll talk soon.